In this video, we are going to talk about the best treats for a sensitive stomach, especially if your dog has had a sensitive stomach and it's driving you crazy and you are going back to the vet or you are having to deal with runny poos all the time. This is the video for you. So whenever we talk about treats and we talk about food and we talk about these sensitive stomachs and we talk about bugs and we talk about recurring themes in dogs such as allergies or pruritus, dermatitis, that sort of thing, we have to go down one notch and try to explain and try to address what the underlying problem is. Most common modus operandi of the veterinary industry or the pet food industry for that matter is to look at a problem and to try to fix it with different supplements, with different treats and with different things at the surface level. Ear cleaning, for example, or in the case of a runny stomach, what are the best treats or what is the best this or what are the best supplements for a sensitive stomach. So the first thing we are going to do is strip it back, and we are going to address the problem head on. If you are dealing with a recurring theme of a sensitive stomach, there is an allergen, there is something within the food, there's a particular protein, there's a particular ingredient in your dog's diet that is prevalent, and that particular ingredient or that particular allergen, it's what's causing the problem and what's causing the recurring theme of the sensitive stomach. What you need to do and what we are going to do together is, instead of looking at all these things, all these remedies on the surface, and for you to spend more money on different supplements and different things, is we are going to find out what the dog is allergic to or what the dog is sensitive to. Solution one, before we go into the treats, yes, we are going to cover the treats as well, but the first thing we are going to do is we are going to look at every single ingredient we give the dog. Yes, any treats you currently give the dog, any food you currently give the dog, we are going to look at the ingredients and we are going to weed out, we're going to eradicate all the inflammatory ingredients and all the possible vague ingredients we are currently giving our dog. So if you see meat and animal derivatives, if you see animal fats, if you see rice, if you see wheat, barley, corn, soy, or too much white potato, those are high glycemic carbohydrates or unspecified animal fats, for example, unspecified meats and animal derivatives, and those things, essentially, we do not know what we are giving the dog. If you have a bag of food or if you have a treat and you give them and it contains animal fats, will we know what's causing the problem? We won't, because it's unspecified, it's animal fat. So what we are going to do, the first thing is read all the ingredients for the food, for the treats, and anything ancillary we give the dog. And we are going to assess point by point what the dog is getting. So that's going to be the first thing we are going to do. The second thing we are going to do is we are going to put the dog on a single protein diet with low carbohydrates and a high meat content. What does this mean? We are going to choose one single protein. It could be chicken, it could be turkey, it could be rabbit, it could be salmon. We are going to stick to one single protein. We are not going to give our dog a food with rabbit and duck and venison and chicken, because if something goes wrong, we will not be able to pinpoint what's going on, and then we will be going back to square one. So we are going to put the dog on a single protein food, and that food cannot contain any of these inflammatory ingredients. No wheat, no barley, no rice, no corn, no soy, and all the protein must come from this protein. So all the protein has to come from the chicken or the salmon or the duck or the protein you have chosen. How about treats? Let's dive into the treats. What are the best treats for a dog with a sensitive stomach? Well, the best treats for a dog with a sensitive stomach, those will be of the same protein you are currently feeding, which is okay and it's not causing a reaction. Let me say that again. We are going to choose a single protein food, say chicken, and we are only going to give our dog chicken-based treats. And with those treats, because they are 100% chicken, you can buy chicken strips, you can buy 100% meat patties, which are just chicken, or any other chicken feet, chicken necks, that sort of thing. And we will see that everything we are giving the dog is chicken based, and that chicken, I'm just giving you an example. It could be duck or it could be salmon. So the same thing would apply to those proteins, because we now know, for example, that chicken protein is good for our dog. We are only going to give our dog treats that are of the same protein. And that's going to help you massively, because you will be able to determine that chicken is not a common allergen and chicken is safe. And by you knowing that chicken is safe, and by you reading all the ingredients you give the dog, you will be able to identify what the cause of the problem was. You could reverse engineer it, and you could try to assess what could have been the allergen or what could have been the agent that's causing the dog's inflammation or the dog to have a sensitive stomach. Instead of looking for supplements, we have addressed the root cause of the problem. Once we know that the dog is okay on one single protein, say chicken or say duck or say salmon or whatever, we can then introduce another single protein food, another protein. So let's say that we have chosen a chicken-based food. Now we are going to incorporate a rabbit protein, and we are going to give our dog chicken and rabbit. And how about treats? Well, the treats will be rabbit and chicken, because those are the proteins the dog is okay on. And guess what? If your dog then gets something with pork in it, like pork rind or a pig ear or something natural which is 100% pork, and you can identify it's pork, for example, and the dog has a runny stomach, guess what? You will be able to see for yourself that that protein, pork, in this occasion, on this instance, is causing your dog to be poorly and to have a sensitive stomach. So those are some of the guidelines that we give when we help people in our shops. So those are some very useful guidelines. The next thing I would like to cover would be, what can I do to strengthen my dog's gut? Well, there are two things you can do. You can give your dog soluble fiber or insoluble fiber, and these would be either supplements or with the food. So something like chia seeds, for example, those would be soluble fiber. How about insoluble fiber? Well, anything with hair on, something like a rabbit ear, for example, every now and then will be a source of insoluble fiber, and it will strengthen and cleanse your dog's stomach and will be very beneficial. Obviously, rabbit ears, anything with fur on, also contains manganese, which is a really good agent. It's a really good thing to give your dog. But anyway, I digress. You can then start adding things that are natural to strengthen your dog's gut. The problem with a lot of the supplements and the problem with a lot of the things we do at the margins is that we give our dogs all the things at once. We give the dog supplements, we give the dog rabbit ears, we give the dog chia seeds. We give the dog so many things, soluble fiber, insoluble fiber, this food, that food, those treats, these treats, and then the dog starts again with this issue of a sensitive stomach, and we do not know what's happened, and we don't know what that sensitive stomach has been caused by again, and we start at square one. So try to add things slowly but surely, and you will find that sometimes doing things little by little and one step at a time is the best course of action with our dogs. The one thing we see all the time is that the quality of the food people feed is not up to scratch, and that is the inherent cause of the sensitive stomach in the first place. If you feed your dog a low quality food for long periods of time and you happen to have a sensitive breed or a delicate breed, that then causes massive problems down the line. We are able to only sell foods we believe in out of principle, because we could sell all sorts of things, but we don't. We only sell foods that are great for dogs. So if you head down to thepetquarter.co.uk, link down below, you will be able to see that all our foods are incredible, and it is very likely that your dog on something like this, on something of a better quality, will be better off than on your current food. So by simply upping the quality of the food you give the dog, by reassessing everything you give the dog, and by not giving the dog anything external like bread or like table scraps or like gravy, for example, that a lot of people tend to do because they feel sorry for the dog, you will be able to solve the problem of the sensitive stomach once and for all. You will stop worrying and your dog will be a lot better off. Check a single protein food, up the quality of the same food. The treats should match the single protein food that is okay for your dog, and those are the best treats for a dog with a sensitive stomach. If you then want to add a source of insoluble fiber and soluble fiber, that would be grand. But always start with the food. The power of the food in the pet food industry is incredible. Ingredients do really matter. If you have a question, let me know and we'll answer it on a video.